Here is a list of top 10 most dangerous roads in the world. These roads have high death rates and are extremely dangerous. The people who stay around these areas depend on these roads for their daily transportation, so consider yourself lucky. There are some roads that test the skill and courage of any driver. Number 10. Karnali Highway, Nepal. The Karnali Highway in Nepal is a mountainside track that took an incredible amount of effort to construct in the region of the highest mountain range on Earth. Truck drivers and tourists, when asked which is the most dangerous highway in Nepal, without hesitation, take the name of infamous Karnali Highway. The 155-mile length of the road through the rocky Himalayas of western Nepal is carved through mountain tops and into sheer drops, but the surface of the dirt road is so dangerous that even cyclists have trouble traversing it in parts. About 50 people are killed on the road every year, helped in part by the numerous trucks and coaches that use it daily and who notoriously pay little regard to the sheer drops, stretches, rock, landslides, potholes, flooded parts, steep cliffs, a lot of dust and bumpiness and dangerous weather conditions that adorn the surface. The Karnali Highway is already considered to be one of the most dangerous roads in the world by many. Number 9. Skipper's Canyon Road, New Zealand. The Skipper's Canyon Road on New Zealand's South Island is a narrow, unpaved road that was literally carved out of the side of a steep cliff face in the 1880s to facilitate the gold prospectors that flooded into nearby Skipper's Canyon. The 17-mile-long twisting road has some incredible views of the beautiful New Zealand landscape, but don't get too carried away looking at the scenery. The narrow track has a sheer drop of hundreds of feet just past its narrow edges. With frequent landslides and an uneven surface, tourists are effectively banned from traveling along it due to their rental car insurance not covering travel on the road, and only four-wheel drive vehicles use it regularly. Those unlucky enough to meet another vehicle along the road will often have to reverse several miles before they find a section wide enough to allow passing, once they decide who is going to be the one doing the reversing, that is. Number 8. Hualien Tunnel Road, China. When the Chinese government decided it wasn't worth the trouble and expense to make a road that would be used by only 300 villagers, 13 of these villagers decided to build a 0.8-mile tunnel through the solid rock of a vertical cliff. Before the construction of the mountain pass, the village was cut off from rest of civilization by the surrounding cliffs. Villagers used explosives to blow their way through this vertiginous cliff. Lacking road building experience, some villagers died in accidents. The tunnel is 15 feet high and 12 feet wide, barely wide enough for 2 cars. Number 7. Atlantic Ocean Road, Norway. Many tourists like a nice ocean view while they're visiting the coast, but Norway's Atlantic Ocean Road really takes you closer than most roads to seaside experience. The 5-mile-long highway in the northern coastal region links several islands and has no fewer than 8 bridges, including one long stretch in the middle of the ocean that is notoriously battered with huge waves and high winds during even slightly turbulent weather conditions. The Norwegians frequently brush off the type of weather conditions that would leave the rest of the world huddling in front of a warm fire, but even they take great care along this treacherous route during storms, as aquaplaning is common in such conditions, and even though this modern road has a decent guardrail, there really is nowhere other than the bottom of the sea to go to if you do manage to leave the road entirely. Located in the Midwest part of the Norwegian coastline, the Atlantic Road is one of the most scenic drives in the world. Number 6. Fairy Meadows Road, Pakistan. Situated at the base of Pakistan's 26,660-foot Nanga Parbat, Fairy Meadows is a picturesque destination for the backpackers, photographers and mountain climbers who want to get closer to the enormous peak and enjoy the scenery. Getting to Fairy Meadows, however, is not such an attractive experience. Part of the trip involves surviving a 6-mile-hour-long drive on an unstable gravel road hacked out of the barren hills. This road offers the motorist all the insane features of your typical mountainside dirt trail. It's narrow, unpaved, steep, and of course there aren't any guardrails to prevent your Jeep from rolling down. You can't even drive it all the way to Fairy Meadows. The last section has to be covered by bicycling or on foot. A great road for adventurers, Fairy Meadows Road is definitely not for the faint of heart. Number 5. Passage du Bois, France. Planning a trip to France in your car? Besides packing food and shelter supplies, you might want to have a floating boat with you, as today we are going to cover a road that might need more than a car to cross. Passage du Goy is a natural passage with a length of 2.58 miles, connecting the Gulf of Bernf with the island of Noirmoutier. Located on the Atlantic coast of France, the road is notorious for periodically disappearing by being flooded twice a day. This 2.58-mile road has become more of a tourist's attraction but is also a very dangerous road to travel in case you mix up the tide times and you run the risk of disappearing beneath the salty brine. Even after the tides have gone, the road is quite slippery from the remaining seaweed and salty water. The treacherous passage is not only unique but extremely dangerous too, in case you are stuck in a rising wave. There are elevated rescue towers for you to climb and wait to be rescued. Number 4. James Dalton Highway, Alaska. Truckers are a tough bunch with plenty of high-quality professional driving experience behind them, but even the most skilled big rig drivers are tested by the James Dalton Highway in Alaska. The 414-mile stretch of road, familiar to fans of the ice road truckers show that featured the perils of those employed to travel it, is one of the most isolated roads in the world, with just 3 gas stations along its route. Icy gradients of up to 12% challenge the 250 truckers who use it daily to transport oil from the Prudhoe Bay oil fields, but frequent potholes hidden beneath the icy surface and flying rocks that could lead problems for drivers. A special permit is required to use the road, and those that do are encouraged to bring survival gear, because a wreck out in this desolate wilderness can bring severe consequences for those unprepared for the freezing conditions, not to mention the ever-present danger of hungry polar bears on the prowl for a tasty trucker treat. Number 3. Zoji-la Pass, India. Just about any road that winds through the highest mountain range in the world would probably be at least somewhat dangerous for travel. The Zoji-la Pass certainly qualifies in this regard, since it's a dirt road with no guardrails or traffic signs and where landslides are a continual problem. Zoji-la Pass is the highest mountain pass in India, located on the Indian National Highway 1D between Srinagar and Leh. Zoji-la Pass is generally closed during the winter, when 50-foot snow drifts make it impassable. Mercifully for drivers on the road, Zoji-la Pass is only about 6 miles long. But it's a lifeline that keeps the people of Ladakh in touch with the rest of the world. Number 2. Sichuan-Tibet Highway, China. The Sichuan-Tibet Highway, a high-elevation road between Chengdu and Tibet where landslides and rock avalanches are common, is undoubtedly part of the problem. It is a road with a record of over 7,500 deaths for every 100,000 drivers, has reason to be feared. Due to rock slides, avalanches, and poor weather, drivers should certainly use caution. The high-altitude road, which averages about 14,500 feet above sea level, will often leave you gasping for air, not only because of the altitude, but also because of the frequent hairpin bends, rock slides, and incredibly divergent weather systems. Number 1. North Yungas Road, Bolivia. Being commonly known as the Road of Death should give a hefty hint to travelers in Bolivia that the North Yungas Road is no relaxing drive in the country, but the crosses that frequently adorn the roadside throughout its 42-mile length will leave no doubt that this road is a natural-born killer. The narrow single-lane road is commonly used by large trucks and buses that frequently fall victim to the crumbling edges, resulting in a vehicle dropping off into the 2,000-foot drop to the rainforest below. The road is so dangerous that drivers are required to drive on the left-hand side so that they have a better view of outside wheel, which no doubt adds to the confusion caused by the frequent rain, fog, and rockfalls that have left the Road of Death with sections that are quaintly named by the locals with handles such as Slaughter Alley and Dead Man's Curve. So that was the top 10 most dangerous roads in the world. Thank you for watching this video, and don't forget to share and subscribe to the channel.